Catus Maximus here, this time with a review of Vevor's high output tower type work lights. At least they do have a handle with care, fragile. Some good labeling on the box. Double wall box. I think this goes for around $100 on their website, and this is a promotional product. I do appreciate them sending it to me. And I kind of thought, you know, I have a few different little kind of LED halogen replacement work lights, like a, you know, snap-on performance tool, even one from Fasteners. But this one kind of intrigued me. It was about I think it goes for around $100 on their website, which isn't a bad price, and they're advertising something incredible like 20,000 lumens. So one thing I thought was interesting is it comes with like a 10-foot extension cord. It is an 18 gauge, but if you look, you can see that these contacts are actually spring-loaded contacts like that work like this, rather than the really cheap extension cords. Just have a stamped piece of sheet metal, and the contact is like this, which is really terrible. What we can see inside this one, it's actually a wider contact. So not the best, but actually it's not the worst extension cord. Kind of a handy little thing. You can see it's reasonably well packaged, and we'll just do unpackaging here. We've got this a ton of little baggies. Keep those out of the reach of children. So I assume that this is the base plate here. We have the tripod in a big old bubble package here. Some people don't care for the unboxing. Some people do. They just kind of want to have an idea of how it's packaged. And actually, it looks like, especially for like $100 for a big tall tripod that's supposed to have quite a bit of lumens, this isn't too bad. So here's our tripod. When you open it up, the legs slide down like this. We do have a thumb wheel to prevent them from sliding back up. I do like that the legs have these double crossbars, so it's actually, really pretty well stable. And interestingly enough, they've included a little bubble level in there. Kind of an oddball feature, but it's not too bad. We can see we do have an area to wrap the cord around, and it can get pretty tall. Telescope uses these threaded things kind of like walking sticks or camera tripod, so it has a two-stage threaded expansion here. Come on, there we go. So it can go out pretty darn tall, to tell you the truth. Like, I think 6 or 8 feet tall. And that was the other thing that kind of I liked about it, was that was a pretty high and tall work light. And it's also, I think I have to screw in this part first and then do this part. So I kind of like that feature. And then apparently this is the system that clamps the lights onto it. It goes through here, there's a little peg, and it locks down. We'll take another look at that in a second here. The other incentive for me getting this was just the fact that I have a really kind of frustrating setup right now for the lights that I use for my table reviews. So I thought, well, this thing on a big tall tripod, I can actually get it set up and have it lean over and be more of a top-down approach rather than a side approach. And it won't be quite as cumbersome as my current setup. It does come with assembly instructions, just real basic. I don't know if this is some kind of carry handle. I'll find out in a second. This is just an adjustment handle. And for airbags, we do have some various pieces of foam. And then here, oh, I see we have some more hardware and fasteners. And then these are our lighting elements. Get these out of the bag. Initially, I was a little bit questioning whether or not they're 20,000 lumens, but we can see by the size of my hand, they are pretty big and they have a huge array of LEDs. And so that could be a plus or a minus for some people. I think it's a plus, but this is genuine glass front panels, which means they're going to be much more scratch resistant, and when they get dirty or get paint on them, you can use razor blades to clean them off. The disadvantage is if you knock this over and they land face first on the ground, there is a chance that they'll break. But for my applications and for me personally, I'd rather have the glass just because of the scratch resistance. And I've had so many plastic fronted work lights where they just end up getting really scratched up and really dull. When you do get paint and stuff on them, it's really hard to get off. Where these will remain clear. They are independent switches, so you can use one or both. Pretty wide panels, cast aluminum frames. And we do have some specifications here. 20,000 lumens. 6400K, so really white, or really white light. That would be almost bluish. Well, the first thing I'm going to note is that the fasteners that it comes with, these ones that are supposed to support this carrying handle, the idea is that you can pull it off the tripod and just use it as a double light on the floor, and then this is a carrying handle, or you can put it on the tripod. The fasteners, these little guys, are way too short because the threaded inserts are on the bottom, so it's got to go through, reach all the way through there, and it's catching by about 2 threads. What I thought was really weird is these are metric thread fasteners, but it's a 3/8 head, not a 10 millimeter. And I just couldn't really figure that out, so I'm going to use these grade 8.8, slightly longer fasteners. So that's one thing to keep in mind, as they did include just 2 shorter fasteners, and they're really odd metric thread, but 3/8, and 3/8 is 9.5 millimeters, so that's really intentional. It's just kind of odd that it's a fractional head size on a metric threaded fastener. Never really seen that before. They want to mention, interestingly, they've doubled up on these lower brackets. I guess that's just to add a little bit more rigidity, which I suppose is just fine. Oh, here they are, turned on and all mounted up. A little cheesy. All this is a box. It's just a junction box. So if you don't like this box, I assume you could do something else to join them both up, or maybe you didn't care for that and you can just rewire them and have 2 independent plugs coming from them. Other than that, I don't know how to really demonstrate how bright these things are, but they definitely, I don't think they're lying about the 20,000 lumens. I mean, these things are bright. And all the other lights in my house are off. And now I have these things like 6 feet up and like no problem whatsoever. We can see that it is almost bluish. It's really a pretty high color temperature. So these, I guess when you're painting, you already know what color you're using, but they're not going to be the most color accurate lights, that's for sure. But I believe that they're 20,000 lumens. I mean, if I put my hand right here, I can feel the heat. Like just like this, my hand's getting warmed up. I mean, you could use these easily as hand warmers. There is a lot of intensity coming off of these. Quite a bit of heat coming out of the back, so there's definitely some real wattage there. But as far as like work lights, construction lights, that type of thing, I think for $100 with the tripod, they'd be hard to beat. I mean, these will light up a these could easily light up a huge room. So I've had these running for maybe 20 or 30 minutes now just to see how hot they get. And we can see right in the back there, 180 degrees. These things get burning hot. How about that one? That one's at 185 degrees. They really put out a lot of heat. They maybe should have... I mean, these are aluminum housings and they have pretty decent heat sink fins, but those things do get blazing hot. I mean, you can just touch them, but they'll end up, burning you if you grab them and forget that they've been running for a while, especially in warmer weather. That's for sure. These things get pretty darn warm. Here they are, just mounted on their tripod. There is an alignment peg, so when you put it and clamp it in, it does actually keep it centered, which is a nice touch. And then there's our tripod. So not a lot else to say about these besides they get hot. They are dumping a lot of power, a lot of lumens, 10,000 lumens for each element, or 20,000 lumens total. I mean, they are bright. Definitely would be for the price. I think these are actually, worthy. Of course, there could be better build quality, but then it'd be like $150. So I think it's really just fine. I think it's just, if you saw these at Harbor Freight or something for $100, I'm sure they would sell a heck of a lot of them. These things are bright. I just think they probably should have done deeper fins, much taller, like inch-tall fins, to help keep them cool. At 185 degrees, that will reduce the life of the power supplies in the LED, so we'll see how long they actually last. It would be nice if they had some fan cooling, but nonetheless, for $100, I'm satisfied. I mean, I would be satisfied. I'd say for $100, I figure I'd get what I pay for. I mean, the glass is glued to the front, so these aren't waterproof, but I think they would be light rain resistance. I think they give them an IP54. And I think the feature of just being able to unclip it and just be able to carry around just the lights themselves and just set them on the ground is fine, but having the tripod, and it seems to actually raise the lights up about 5 feet, 5.5 feet, but have them be higher up so that the light isn't just shining from downwards, but can be like more straight on, or shining from the top in many situations is also real handy. Anyway, I appreciate Vevor sending me these, and I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing and supporting my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.